Thanks for joining me, Sagittarius. It's July 2016. I'm Dadhichi from astrological.com.au, and the frustrating combination of Mars and Saturn hovering in and near your sun sign over the last few months has obviously been a cause of frustration for many of you born under the sign of the Centaur. And of course, we also see the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in the 8th house now, which can be problematic if you're not using that energy correctly. Because, when life puts the brakes on and you're feeling as if everything is against you, it's easy for your mind to spiral down into negative thinking. And unfortunately, that tends to perpetuate, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to perpetuate the same sort of situation, because our minds are really the precursors to our destiny. So what I'm saying there is that with Mercury, Sun and Venus in your 8th house, and then on the 5th we see the new moon taking place here in the same position. The 8th house has to do with a lot of hidden stuff. So sometimes the patterns of our thought and the way we react to certain things is almost an unconscious response. So this month it's important for you to really dig down deep and try to find out how that mechanism within yourself is working. And that can happen after the 5th, when that new moon shines a light on those hidden, those dark areas within our nature. Of course, Mars, which I mentioned at the outset, is hovering very near to the commencement of Sagittarius. It's still in the sign of Scorpio. It's moving forward now, but that 12th house, which is where it's placed, has a lot to do with your past and uncovering stuff. Now, we see there's some conflict there with the moon in Taurus as the month commences in your 6th house. That's a health sector. So for some of you, this stage of your life, this particular phase or cycle, may be causing you some health problems. This can be in the form of inflammation, infection, small injuries, that type of thing. But it also has to do with health that is directly related to thinking processes. I don't know whether you were tuned into one of my previous discussions where I talked about how each and every thought that we have is very much associated with chemical reactions in the brain. So, for example, a person who's continually angry is secreting adrenaline and cortisol. And that, of course, is an internal fix. It's an addiction to your own chemicals, which, if they're hitting up heroin or morphine, any of that sort of stuff. This is an internal addiction based upon the way that you think. So this month, what I'm saying, and the theme for you, is to really grab hold of those processes and try to study with an inward view what you can do to give those negative thoughts an upward turn. That's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something that you should commence now as a process over the next few years to help redirect your life. Thinking is destiny, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say here as the theme for Sagittarius in July 2016. We see that the counterpart of the new moon, which is taking place in that 8th house, and it also has to do with money, by the way, because the 8th house is not just all this subconscious spiritual stuff. For some of you that are more interested in the financial material aspects, this can show new beginnings in terms of the way you're relating with others with money. This can be the start of a new business partnership, someone investing in some of your ideas. So if you're creatively inclined and want to associate that with your business, this is a good time to access the funds of other people. The counterpart is the full moon, which takes place in your 2nd house. That is directly related to the way you earn money yourself, your own personal exertion to earn money. We've seen there's been a great intensification of that part of your horoscope with the presence of Pluto there, and unfortunately that does have the tendency to tear things down before it builds them back up again. So for those of you born under Sagittarius that have been experiencing that type of result from Pluto, rest assured that the full moon there can actually bring with it some insights as well. The moon, by the way, rules your 8th house of shared resources, being full in the 2nd house of income. So there is a tie-in with income and other people's resources during this specific phase. Now, the marital part of your horoscope is ruled by Mercury. Mercury moved out of that 8th house into the sign of Leo, which is your 9th house, around the 14th. On the 12th, 2 days before, we see Venus moving out of there. So that's going to be a welcome relief for a lot of you, because it shifts the attention from that tense sort of inward psychological nebulous area into a more sort of outgoing, travel orientated, study orientated segment. The 9th house is also litigious matters, legal matters, higher mind, and religion and philosophy. So you could become a little more philosophical about what's going on as these two planets move into the 9th house. Generally, this is a good placement for the planets and brings with it some good luck and good fortune from your past karma, your past actions. The 9th house has to do with your past, along with the 12th house. Jupiter still continues in the 10th house with the North Node, very closely associated with that. This is your ruling planet. So it shows your desire to expand in your professional activities. You have had that nebulous opposition aspect that's passing now. That's the aspect of Jupiter to Neptune in your 4th house, but that's clearing, I'm pleased to say. And therefore, these conjunctions of Venus and Mercury in your 9th house should bring a sigh of relief to many of you. There's a quick movement again. It continues with that Mercury moving out of that 9th house into your career sector, ready to make some favourable aspects next month in August, which we'll talk about next round. But that's going to bring with it some opportunity to make communication in your industry, to approach your employers, and to, consider how you can improve yourself through the written and spoken word. Relationships will also take a turn for the better with Mercury moving up high into the horoscope, into its best sign of Virgo on the last day of the month. I hope you'll join me again next month. Don't forget astrology.com.au for a more detailed analysis of your brief description this month, and I hope to see you here soon. Bye-bye.